We'll have control.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome on. How are you guys? So glad to have you guys on. Thank you for coming on. We'll give you guys a few minutes to come on. I'm Martha here at LivinLaVidaCarni. And of course, the one and only over here on this side, is Kerry Man at Homestead How. Thank you so much for being here with us, Kerry.
Thanks for having me, Martha. I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. On my little baby channel. It's nice. That's cool. Welcome,
Hey,
everybody.
I love the name of your channel too, by the way.
I had
That's
to give a
awesome.
little Spanish flair. Some Mexican,
Right?
little Spanish something.
It's fun too.
Oh
Quick
yeah, and
shout
you
out.
know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I just did my very first Spanish interview, all Spanish interview.
Oh, nice.
With the Mexican doctor who's been on carnivore for over a year. Him and his wife, they're both doctors.
Ooh.
And so I interviewed him about a week and a half ago or so. And so that's going to come out in a couple of weeks. So I'm so excited to be able to bring that to the Spanish community because we both looked and there's not much out there.
Right. That's so cool. Yeah. Shout out LivinLaVidaCarni. If anyone's watching from my channel, Homestead How, go check out Martha's channel. It's awesome. There's a link in my description below so you can subscribe and stay up to date and watch those interviews she's doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, Free Warden. Thanks for being here with us. Charger Morpar, I need to try your heart attack chicken. Haven't done that yet.
Hey, quick shout out to Rick, Charger Mopar. Rick, I had a guy come into the theater today. I'm in the basement of the Montello Theater, and his name was Scott, and he's a carnivore. He traveled from 2 hours, and he wanted to meet and see the theater, which was awesome. But he's like, I love that guy, Rick. Rick is the best. Rick with his heart attack chicken. He was going on and on about Rick. So, Rick, I know you know this already, my friend, but you have a lot of fans out there.
Rick is getting famous.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. That's awesome. Hey, shout out to Dennis, who's a new YouTube member. That's awesome. Hello, Tracy. Thanks for coming along. Awesome. Look, Rick has a fan, Neil Hansen. We're all Rick fans, all of us. So cool. Susan, I saw her earlier today. I was at her house interviewing Susan. We're doing an update. Susan was my very first interview. She was amazing.
Nice.
All right. Hello, Joanne. Welcome aboard from Port Alberni, BC, Canada. That's cool. Listening in as I hop out of a scalding Epsom salt bath. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's what I need tonight. I had a long day. That's so cool. Ooh, Primal Mike.
Hey, there's another good guy. Hey, Mike.
Good to have you, buddy. Tammy.
Martha. Hey, that's my cousin, Tammy. Shout out cousin Tammy.
Hi, cousin Tammy.
Quick shout out to Tammy. Tammy introduced my wife, Jen, and myself 30 years ago. My wife.
Wow.
Jen and I have been together since age 14. Middle school sweethearts. Thanks to Tammy. And every time I see cousin Tammy, I thank her and I say, all my children, everything I have would not be here without you. Who knows where I would be?
Y'all say hi to Pepper. Pepper is transitioning to carnivore. She's, slowly from keto carnivore,
Awesome. My dogs are all carnivore now. It took me a while to transition them. I think they've been about 2 months now, and I'm so glad I did it. You're gonna be so happy.
That's awesome. Now, when she's had like tummy issues in the past with different, kibble. I mean, that's what we all give them. It's terrible. Hey there, Keister. Welcome. Ooh, let's see here. We've got Victoria Matthews from Fort Worth. Hey, Texas in the house. I'm from Houston, you guys, if you guys were wondering. I'm in Houston, Texas. We're happy we have a brand new Houston Texans team. Praise the Lord.
So you're in Houston now?
Yeah. Oh, nice. I was born and raised here. Yeah. I did live a year in Atlanta, and I lived 4 years in New Jersey, and now I'm back in Houston.
Awesome. I know it's a little bit of a drive, but KetoCon this summer in Austin. Not I was thinking Houston, Austin.
Are you
Uh,
going?
yes, yeah. So,
Oh,
and we might.
cool.
I'll definitely let you know. We're gonna maybe try to do some sort of meetup outside of KetoCon too, and
Oh,
do
that
a
would
big
be
get together and
amazing.
stuff.
Hey, yeah, I'll do what I can to be there. I am busy. Like I'm very involved in my church ministry. I aside from my full-time job, and do property management too for some rentals and stuff like that. So I
Right?
am a little busy, but I'll try to make it out for sure. Austin is not far from Houston at all.
Is it like
So
2 hours or
Paul
something?
Atkins says Rick for president. See, Rick has fans. We've
Yep.
got some Rick fans here. Rhonda Jackson, where do we find the heart attack chicken recipe? Oh yeah, we're gonna have to find that link and post it later on. I don't
Right?
remember. I just remember seeing your friend, what's his Moonshine? What is his name?
Yeah, JT.
JT. Yeah. I remember him doing a video trying out the heart attack chicken. That made me laugh. That video
Yep.
made me laugh so much.
Yeah. Shout out JT.
Shout out JT. Let's see. We've got Dennis. That's
Oh,
awesome.
super chat, $10. Thanks again. Live streams are great. Thank you so much. Any live streams we get go 100% towards our documentary. So we really appreciate it. We're going to film Dr. Ken Berry in like 4 days from now. I can't believe it. It's going to be crazy.
Wow, that's so for the documentary.
For the documentary,
Right
100%.
on.
Yep.
That's cool.
And it's
Hello,
the first,
middle of a forest.
yeah, it's the first time we're filming him. I've done a live stream with him. It's the first time we're filming him in person. And then we're going to be
Mm.
filming him again later in the summer when it warms up.
Oh.
But filming him for we're doing a pre-movie sort of trailer. This is what we have so far to
Mm.
share with the studio. So got to have Dr. Berry professionally filmed in that.
That's so cool. How exciting. Hello, middle of a forest. Thanks for coming on. Nancy. See, Kerry is becoming a carnivore celebrity superstar for sure. For sure.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that makes me uncomfortable, but thank you.
Yeah, I have friends that are kind of famous and they say the same kind of thing whenever they get a little celebrity. They're like, this is kind of weird.
It was very surreal when we went to Chicago. We did a meetup with Dr. Hampton. It was humbling. It was more humbling than anything. People
Yeah.
that flew out to the meetup and like coming out here to talk to me, like, oh, okay. But it was great. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
that's so cool. LCVB. Hi, guys. Hey there, LC. Thanks for coming on. That's awesome. Just want to make sure I shout out some of you guys because once we start talking, I really won't be able to click back and forth all day. Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl Edwards. Hi from, how do you pronounce that? Beloit?
I got this one. I got this one.
Okay.
Beloit. I used to live in
Beloit.
Beloit.
Okay. I wanted
Lived
to
in
get
Beloit for many
fancy and
years.
make it Frenchy or something.
Right? Yeah, I think that's what it's from. That's probably a more proper way to say it. But here in Wisconsin, we say Beloit.
Oh, Susan says my dog Pepper loves filet mignon. She gave my dog filet mignon today, y'all.
Oh,
Oh my, I forgot her food. And
she's
oh my
spoiled now.
gosh, Susan really hooked it up. So
Your dog's 100% carnivore now. There's no turning back.
yeah, she loved that. Hello, Victoria Matthews. Minimalist carnivore. We are live. Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am. Karen Harrington. Hello. Hello. Sunny C. Good evening to all. Hi there. Raimundo. I know how to pronounce that in Spanish. Raimundo. Hi from Spanish Mountain Village. That's awesome. BK, Belgian carnivore. Wow, that's cool. I love that. That's the cool thing about the internet. You can reach the world.
Yeah, it's something.
Amazing. Sweeten ya's life. Like, comment, and share the live. That's what's up. Thank you, girl. All right. Ike Man, I love meat. Don't we all, buddy? Don't we all? Uncle Big Guy. Howdy all. Hi, Kerry. The Marine and the Missus. Oh, I love that. Hello to the Marine and the Missus from Texas in the house again. That's cool. Carnivore Ron. I've heard his name a lot. He makes his rounds on YouTube.
He's awesome. He was one of the first people I had on my YouTube channel.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah, he's got a great story. He's a great person. Always leaving good comments too.
Awesome. I'm gonna add you, Carnivore Ron. I don't think I've added some people, but there's so many now growing in the carnivore community. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna look you up, Carnivore Ron. PA Beater. I
Yeah,
hope
that's
I said that right.
it's actually I used to do that too. It's paw beater, like ma and
Paw
paw
Beater.
beater. Yep.
Oh, okay. Paw Beater. Hello, good
Another awesome
evening.
individual.
That's awesome. One Tap Johnny. I love it. Hi, you're an inspiration to a lot of us. Day 25 on the carnivore diet, and
Yay.
I haven't felt this good in years. That's amazing, man. That is amazing.
I always love hearing that because on day 25, you're through the hard parts. Those first couple of weeks are hard. It's smooth
Yeah,
sailing from here on out.
yeah. Hi, Living to Learn. Welcome. Florida Montana man, meat heals. Yes, sir. Angela Taylor, 140 here in England. Appreciate you. Wow, welcome, Angela. You're amazing. That's so cool. Finally caught my first live. Yeah, Rika Woo won. That's awesome. I know that happens to me all the time. I have to watch the reruns because I'm always busy when something goes live.
Right?
Bettina, hi all. New to both of you. The algorithm gods must love you. Well, they love him. They love him. And you guys are finding me because I have a little baby channel. But hi, welcome. My name is Martha, for those wondering. I'm here in Houston, Texas. I've been on carnivore for this is month number 9 that I just started. And by the way, I am celebrating that this month is the longest I've been on any sort of diet at all. So it's the most consistent way of eating. And it's honestly the easiest way I've ever eaten in my life. I don't know how you can do this and just lose weight just without even trying. It's crazy.
I love that. I always get frustrated when people say that to me, but I get it. But when they say, I don't know how you could do this. And then meanwhile, Martha and I are like, this is the easiest thing
Yeah.
ever. Once you do it. But I was thinking the same thing when I started. I was like, this
Yeah.
is crazy. I don't know how people would just eat meat.
No, and I can see how men get so encouraged more than women because you guys lose weight so quickly in
Yeah.
comparison, like in half the time. But still, I mean, I just feel so amazing that I don't know why you wouldn't want to do anything else. Hola, Nancy. Thank you so much. And we got to get a Spanish girl here, Linda Hernandez from Southern California. Welcome, Linda. That's awesome. Okay, this is the last highlight for me for a while. Okay. Lint 2011, love carnivore, but continue to struggle with carbs. That happens sometimes, especially if, for example, if you like, there are certain like dairy, if you have cheese, that can get me back into wanting carbs. This one time was it around Christmas time, I went to our work luncheon, Christmas luncheon, and I prepared a casserole. They asked me to do a casserole, a carb casserole that everybody loves. I did it, and then when I was preparing it, I went like this. But not, I wasn't trying to taste test it. I was just getting
Right.
something off my finger, and it triggered my cravings. Just that one little. It was
Wow.
crazy. So yeah, you this carb addiction is real, y'all. It
Yeah.
is real. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Again, my name is Martha here at LivinLaVidaCarni, and I've only been on carnivore. I still consider myself a baby carnivore, but I just started month 9. And the reason that I started my channel is because one, accountability, because it really does help. Two, I really wanted to connect with the carnivore community. And I feel like when I did it last time, I was completely disconnected from everyone, and that didn't work well for me. I really needed the accountability. And now I've met people in the carnivore community and made friends, and it really does help to have that interaction because I didn't have anyone doing carnivore. And now one of my oldest sister, Miriam, just started carnivore the last few days. And my sister Sandra is doing keto carnivore. She's kind of in there too. So slowly but surely, people in my life is starting to try it out. And so the third main reason that I started this channel was because my brother Joey passed away in September of 2021, complications of diabetes. And that was really, really hard. We were very close. He was one of my best friends in the world. And it just hurts my heart so much that there are so many people that are suffering from diabetes and that are losing their lives so early in life. My brother was 51 years old.
Mm.
obese, found out about carnivore, but too late along in the process of where he was at. And, left a beautiful wife and three beautiful children. And, that it shouldn't happen. That just shouldn't happen. So this channel is dedicated to my brother Joey and to all the Joeys out there that they don't have any hope. And that's what I love about you, Kerry, that you really make giving hope a theme in your life and for in your channel. And I love that. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming on, Kerry. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you too. I appreciate your nice words. I love that you use the word hope because that's kind of what inspired me to keep doing the YouTube videos and eventually the documentary we're working on. So many carnivores I talked to use that same word. I was hopeless. I had no hope. I was without hope. And that was my life for a very, very long time until I found the proper human diet and changed everything for me. So really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I had to have you on because you are one of the most passionate advocates of the carnivore diet on YouTube. It's crazy. Your energy, Kerry, is so contagious. I remember the first time that I started listening to you because I get disconnected from YouTube sometimes, and then I come back on and there's new faces, and you come back on and you start trending. And the first time I heard you, I mean, your energy was palpable. Like you have this ability to fire people up and to rally towards a cause, whether it's with your friend Bill or this documentary or this, that, and the other. But it's because this way of eating has been so beneficial to you. And so I really love your passion and your energy for all of this. So I really had to have you on because your advocacy and I just you can feel that it's coming from you, that you have a good heart and you're just so passionate about helping people. And it's like you get reminded of like, why don't more people know about this way of eating? It's crazy. And so I just love that. I love that about you, and I love your passion that you have. And so that's really one of the main reasons that I wanted to have you on. Are you surprised that you've been instrumental? And I don't know if you realize that, but that you've been instrumental in galvanizing a lot of the carnivore community to get behind this documentary project you're leading?
Yeah, I'm surprised about everything. I guess just to step back for a moment, what you said about being so enthusiastic and firing people up. This this is the truth. It's always hard for me to hear that because it was such the polar opposite before that for so long. I think that's the reason why maybe I'm so fired up about it. But I had just hopeless depression, clinical suicidal depression for years and years. I tried everything. I tried all sorts of pills and medications and issues with sleep and anxiety for so long. And then I started having other health issues where I was weak and fatigue all the time because of my heart and arthritis and pain in my foot. And so I was absolutely, utterly miserable for so long. Um, I like movies. We're in the movie theater. It's like the movie The Shawshank Redemption when he finally gets out and gets freedom and throws his hands up in the air. It's like, how can you not be excited and fired up and want to share it with people? And then when I started talking to other people, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't just me. There's so many other people. Like I thought I couldn't wrap my brain around
Yeah.
carnivore. How are you gonna only eat meat? This is just a couple of crazy people on the internet that maybe this just worked from Dante from Frig No Freedom. Dr. Barry, I don't know this guy's selling something. There's got to be some angle or something he's working. But then when I did my 30-day video, I started hearing so many stories. I got to just like open it up once and share it to people or something because I say this sometimes. I don't think people realize the scale. I don't know if it's because my story resonates with people or they feel like I get this overwhelming sense from people that I have a story and my story deserves to be heard.
Mm.
And whatever happened to me to get to this point has been unfair for one reason or another. And therefore, my story needs to be heard. I hear it over and over and over again. I get so many comments,
Mm.
emails, comments on Facebook, Instagram. It's a blessing. I'm thankful for it. Some of it's frankly kind of hard because a lot of them are essays. It's like a life story. People
Mm.
that are going through cancer, people that had hopeless depression. So many stories though of just joy and overcoming hopelessness. And that was kind of the common theme early on. You get one of those things, you're like, this is exciting. Like this person changed their life forever. It's just insane. And then I do another video, and then you get more comments like that. So it just kind of snowballs from there. I guess in terms of building up excitement for the documentary, I'm so grateful and thankful for the carnivore community. I know we say it a lot, but every person I've met that's a carnivore has just been amazing. We had
Yeah.
a gentleman just come into the theater today. I mentioned it earlier, and I was talking to him for about an hour before the movie. Just incredible. Like every person I met is just incredible. So it doesn't surprise me that the community is excited about the documentary and things we're doing because of them. They're so awesome and incredible and encouraging. But it also, I think it's something that's just so needed. That was the reason I did it.
Yeah.
Martha, early on when I decided to do this documentary, I had a couple naysayers. They're like, "What gives you the right to do this? You're
Mm,
just." I'm coming up on 1 year on carnivore, so I'm a baby too in terms of carnivore. Like, what gives you the right to do this? And my only answer was, I don't want to do this. I don't see anybody else doing it. If
right.
somebody else was doing this, I wouldn't be
Right.
doing it. And I'm hearing these stories from individuals, and they want their words and their stories to be told. I want to hear the stories. I'm reading them, and they're inspiring me. And this is the thing I've realized early on: you can't change anyone else. I have family members and loved ones that are suffering horribly, and I want to just shake them and be like, just do this, just do carnivore. They will never listen. The
Mhm.
only way someone will change their lives is if they see something and they're inspired and they decide to do it for themselves. And what's going to inspire them more than seeing someone else's story of success? Like, hey, if Bill Knott at 700 pounds has the courage to do this and has the fortitude to do this, I can do it. And it inspires people. Or maybe I relate with Bill, or maybe I relate with
Right.
Carnivore Ron. And
Mhm.
so that was the reason kind of I wanted to do the documentary. And the reason I think people are excited about it is because a lot of the people that are excited about it have their own stories and they want to be heard as well. And
Yeah.
it's like we're all in kind of this group where it's like we were uh we were lied to about
We've
many,
been
many things.
duped.
We've been duped, and a lot of us have suffered horribly because of it. And it's just kind of the normal, so it shouldn't be normal. And that's the big driver behind this documentary.
Mhm.
I've been studying this and learning about this more, and it's a fascinating thing to me. But these social norms that humans get into, we get
Mhm.
into these routines where, yeah, feeding your kids sugar and cereal at a young age, and Pop Tarts, and breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and their teeth are rotting, and
Yeah.
they're hooked on sugar, and they're starting to get depressed and have all of these issues. But we've always just done that, so that's just fine. Just ignore it. Diabetes rates amongst children. I was just watching this video yesterday. The guy was saying, a doctor like 20, 30 years ago, they would see one child with diabetes their entire career.
Sheesh.
Now it's like a huge percentage of children have diabetes now, and it's just
Yeah.
normal.
And
These things, yeah,
obese children.
yeah,
You never saw that even in the 80s.
right? Yeah, I know. I remember, speaking of movie theaters, you remember looking back, like when Star Wars came out or something, you'd see
Yeah.
outside the movie theater lines of people. There'd be one or two overweight people. Now you
Mhm.
look at it, there's one or two normal, proper looking humans, proper human diet looking humans, and almost everyone's overweight or has some sort of issues. So
Yeah.
it's
That's true.
breaking that social norm is the other thing that I think is so important. And the reason that I want to get the word out and do the documentary, and other people I think are excited about it, because everyone listening, most of the people listening to this that are doing a proper human diet now, they feel slighted. They feel like they've been cheated, and rightfully so. And but they also feel like what is going on in the world right now is not right, and we need to all agree to not. This social norm should stop happening, and this isn't normal. This shouldn't be normalized.
Yep. 100%. And yeah, I just feel like we've all been duped. I don't know. I think for some people in the media or in big food or big pharma, maybe some of them are innocent, but you just get this sense that like there's got to be some kind of I don't know. I don't trust these people. Something's awry because this is too crazy. There seems to be this vicious cycle where they're able to the same people that are giving you the pills are the ones that are telling you to eat this food and they give you more pills. It doesn't pass the smell test. Something's wrong here, and you just get that gut feeling like
Mhm.
something is awry. Like this
Right.
is not this is why have we not been informed about this? You know, what's going on? So it just doesn't
Well,
pass the smell test.
absolutely. And you look at all the technology, all the medical advances, and where we're at right now. All of the medication that is being doled out right now, it's being doled out in unprecedented numbers, yet everyone is sicker than ever before. You can't argue that. Depression, mental health rates, strokes, diabetes, every single cancers among people under 50 is, why is that going through the roof? And everyone's just like, it's normal. No, something is
Right.
going on wrong. This was my biggest realization with the documentary too, Martha. That's just crazy to me. I went into this because I'm like, there's hopeless people. Let's get their story out there. That was it. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
I had depression and anxiety. I want to help people that have depression and anxiety. They shouldn't be hopeless. This book by Dr. Georgia Ede is incredible, by the way. Change your
Mhm.
diet, change your mind. If I would have had this book when I was hopeless, I wouldn't have been hopeless anymore. This is going to
Wow.
change so many people's lives. But it gets into the science and all of it of why it's basically a lot of people have depression and mental health issues simply from what we're eating. The thing that I realized on the documentary was I interviewed Dr. Filippo Vadia, heart surgeon, stay off my operating room table, and he's talking about metabolic health and the importance of metabolic health. And he's so passionate about metabolic health for his own specialty, all
Mhm.
by himself for his own specialty. Then I talked to Dr. Anthony Chafee, neurosurgeon. He talked about metabolic health. Then I talked to Professor Thomas Seyfried on the cancer side of things, and he's talking about metabolic health. I talked to Dr. Tony Hampton about type 2 diabetes. It's completely reversible with proper metabolic health. And all these guys are so passionate about their individual things, which is so important. But then I'm like, wait a minute. They're all just saying the same thing.
Right.
Everybody is suffering, and it's all for the same reason. It doesn't matter if it's type 2 diabetes or if it's heart disease or if it's mental health and depression. It's just the food we're eating. It's so simple. And there's some people that are getting into eating the proper human diet, maybe because they want to reverse type 2 diabetes. But the beautiful thing is, you're going to reverse the type 2 diabetes, but all these other things are going to get fixed. And they might not be a problem for you now, but they could have very well been had you continued doing whatever you were doing that got you the type 2 diabetes.
Right.
Um, I really feel like Alzheimer's, dementia, my odds of getting cancer are drastically, drastically reduced simply because I have proper metabolic health. I'm not poisoning myself with sugars and seed oils. My body's no longer in a constant state of inflammation. I'm not pre-diabetic or anything like that. So
Mhm.
it's just all connected. The documentary started with a passion just to share the stories, and now it's like it's so much bigger than I ever would imagine when you just
It's
consider
just become
it's
a
everything.
mission. It's like you touch this nerve, and I honestly meant to talk about this at the end, but I think we should talk about it now. It's like when you decided to go there and make this documentary, it's like it hit a nerve and it was almost like everyone was waiting for somebody to say, "Let's do this." And that they were ready. Like you just
Yeah.
came onto the scene when everyone was ready for this.
Yeah, it seems like there's, and this isn't credit to me, credit to Dr. Barry and all these other YouTubers and people getting the word out.
Mhm.
But it seems like, at some point everyone's talking about it. It reaches this critical mass where it's
Yeah.
like you got gasoline and you're ready to put a match on, it's just gonna blow up.
Yes.
And I think my sort of finding carnivore happened fortunately around that time. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So let's go there. Did carnivore sound crazy to you when you first heard about it? Walk us through that journey.
it sounded insane to me. I found it through Dante from Frigno Freedom. He had a YouTube video he put up. He said he's going to eat only meat for 30 days. I'm like, this guy's crazy, but it
Hmm.
intrigued me because I did keto on and off. And I'm like, well, this
Okay.
is just strict keto, but how the heck are you going to only eat meat? That's not sustainable. You're going to
I
get
had
bored,
the exact same reaction because I
right?
did keto and I just thought when Dr. Barry said he was going to do carnivore, I thought he lost it. I really did. I stopped listening to his videos for a while just
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, that's crazy.
I thought the same thing. You know how many people found carnivore through? It seems like Dante Ferrigno and then Dr. Barry. I hear this story all the time, and
Wow.
Dr. Barry is almost always in the equation. So I saw Dante Ferrigno Freedom, and then I said to Jen, my wife, we were watching this video, and then I noticed it was from 2 years ago. I'm like, there's no way this dude's still eating meat. Let's fast forward 2 years later. Of course, he was still eating meat 2 years later. He looked incredible. He lost all of his weight. His whole demeanor changed. And I'm like, whoa. And then I went down the Dr. Barry rabbit
Man.
hole. And then I told myself Dr. Barry's crazy. I told myself Dr. Barry's trying to sell something. What's his motivations? There's no way this guy's
Yes.
talking about eating bacon. And then I watched more videos from him about reversing type 2 diabetes. That's what ultimately convinced me, long story short. Doc, I never, all my health issues and ailments that put me on my famous
Look
container
at
full of
that.
pills.
Show the people, like, give them a sample of what you were on.
Oh my goodness. Here's sertraline. This was for depression. Amitriptyline. I don't even remember what that one's for. This is Omazepam. I took this for decades. Like, this was for heartburn, and I never got rid of my heart. I have no heartburn on the proper human diet, yet they kept giving me this over and over and over again. I don't know why I didn't just say, why am I still taking this when I still have heartburn and it's not fixing it? Most of these are various different types of antidepressant medicines that they would give me, and they would say, I'm sorry, you're suicidally depressed. You're going to have to take this for 3 months before we're even going to know if it works or not. I would take it for 3 months. It would do nothing. By the grace of God, I was still alive at that time. And then they would say, let's slightly up the dosage. You can go 3 more months. I did that routine for years and years and years. And the only thing that ever fixed it was this proper human diet. But yeah, so that was how I thought it was crazy. I thought Dr. Berry was crazy, but Dr. Berry had a video on reversing type 2 diabetes, and I stumbled upon that one. I don't even know why I watched it. I don't have type 2 diabetes. That's my only issue and ailment I probably didn't have out of all the ones I did have. But there was 2 million views and 1,000, I think there was 2,000 comments, and almost everyone was like, Dr. Berry, you saved my life. Dr. Berry, my A1C went from this to this. Dr. Berry, I went to my doctor for 10 years, and what I just learned in 10 minutes from you completely changed my life. And I was like, this is incredible. I'm like, Dr. Berry's a scam artist making it up. And then he hired all these people. I guess it's some huge elaborate hoax. It's just, no, this is really happening. And that was when I decided to find
Kerry, I
Carnivore.
saw that video and I read the comments just like you did. I don't know how long I read those comments scrolling down. I'm getting emotional just remembering it. But I was crying and crying and crying. And I was like, what? Like, my dad died of diabetes too. My brother died of diabetes. Like, I was just like, is this really happening? And you're reading people's stories and you're just taken aback and you're just like, how is this possible? Like, how is this happening? And I have a brother right now with an A1C of 11. I can't get him to do carnivore yet. We're working on him, but this has got to stop.
Yes. And I have a whole bunch of family members with type 2 diabetes, extended family. In my brain, I didn't know anything about it. I thought type 2 diabetes, you get that, you have it forever. There's nothing you can do about it, because all my family members have had it as long as I can remember. And I have a cousin, he's lost half of his foot, type 2 diabetes, and he's still eating the junk food. We go to a birthday party, a family party, and he's having Pepsi and he's having birthday cake. And it's like, that's how big this sugar addiction is, that an individual would rather have birthday cake than their own foot. That's no exaggeration. That's the truth. Like, you can't argue with it. It's just crazy to me. But back to the Dr. Berry thing. Anyone that wants a big smile on their face, a little bit of a tear, and then a smile, go watch that video. It's Dr. Berry reversing type 2 diabetes. I think he did 2 videos on it. I've read those comments several times. Like you, I get kind of emotional reading them. I never had type 2 diabetes, but these are real individual people whose lives have been changed forever. Had they not done that, where would they be right now? They could be dead. They could be gone. They could be miserable. They certainly aren't living like they are now. That's what convinced me to do carnivore, and also I think fired me up to want to do more videos and eventually the documentary as well.
Thank you, the Marine and the Missus. Thank you so much for your prayers. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. That's my sister Sandy, y'all. You guys say hi to Sandy.
Hey, Sandy. Sugar keeps you thinking from clearly. Yes, 100%. I believe that before the proper human diet, because of the sugar and the inflammation and the brain fog and the fatigue, I was walking around intoxicated, impaired, almost like I was drunk. And I think that's why we're calling it healing humanity, because I believe most of humanity right now is walking around in a state of impairment. And when you're impaired like that, you're not going to go after your goals and your hopes and your dreams. You're going to just do the bare minimum to get by. You're going to sit on the couch and watch TV, and it's no way to live.
Right. 100%. Which carnivore benefit surprised you the most, Kerry?
The mental health changes, because like I said, all those pills I showed you, so many years, I'm still mad about it too. It's like, it was this easy, because it wasn't even, it wasn't like I had to go 6 months. It was pretty darn quick. And those mental health, horrible depression started lifting. And I was the most anxious person for so long. So definitely the mental health. I guess the second one would be the sleep improving as well. I sleep like a baby on carnivore. I sleep so good.
Tell us a little bit more about the depression. How severe was it for you?
It's a hard thing to describe to someone that hasn't been there before. I was in such a dark place for so long. I was almost catatonic. I would sit on the couch. I wouldn't talk to my family. I had this thing in my head where I'm like, I don't want to put on a show and act like everything's fine for my family. I don't want them to be miserable. I'm like, you just go do your thing and just leave me. I'm fine. Just leave me, kind of thing. But then it got worse and worse. I started getting insomnia.
Mm.
We used to have at our old house, we used to have this workshop. It was next to our garage that was detached. And I'd be like, I'm going to go down to the wood shop. And I would just sit down there in a chair in the dark. There were no windows in there. I would sit down there for hours and I was just miserable. Sometimes I just sit there, do nothing. Sometimes I just sit there like a zombie. Sometimes I just sit there and
Man.
cry. And I did that for years and years. So yeah, when people
Did
say
anybody know, or was that like a secret thing you were going through?
that was a secret thing. My family, I was like, I want to go work in the wood shop. I'm like, geez, what is he working on? He's not getting much done down there. But
Mm.
it was it hits me now when I think about it, what my family and my girls had to go through and all the years I lost with my children and my wife because I was a shadow of a human being and it was miserable for them. And yeah, it was a very dark place for so long. And if you haven't had deep
Man, that's
depression,
upsetting. I'm crying right now.
I always encourage people, if you run into anyone with depression, you may not be able to understand it because I would have people say, just go for a walk. It's like you have no
Right.
clue how I can barely stand up right now. It's a sickness beyond anything. Well, when we say hopelessness, it's not an exaggeration. It's literally hopelessness. You don't know how you're going to get through the day.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it, is that it's crazy to think. I would never think that changing your diet could change that.
Yeah, me
That's
neither.
just wild to me.
In my mind, I'm defective. There's something wrong with me. My
Right.
mom has mental health issues. It runs in the family. This is just the way it's always going to be. It was 100% nutrition for so many people. Again, I get nothing for promoting this book. I'm promoting it because it's going to change people's lives. Dr. Georgia E talks about all of this in the book, and not just depression and anxiety, but all these other bipolar disorder. There's so many people out there right now. She said there's 1 billion people right now suffering from mental health issues. And that's
My
just the
brother has schizophrenia.
oh my goodness. That is one of the I have a family member with that as well, Martha.
Mhm.
That is one of the scariest things in the world.
Yeah.
I had a family and a loved one
People
that
don't
had that,
know how bad it can get.
they have no idea. And you see someone like that and they think someone is trying to attack them, someone is trying to stalk them, someone is trying to get them, someone is tapping their phone, someone is doing these things. But in our heads, we're like, that's just dumb. Like, of course
Yeah.
they're not. In their heads, they 100% believe that, going through their lives completely terrified, completely hopeless. It's such a scary thing. The beautiful
Mhm.
thing, though, is not to keep this all sad, is so many people with schizophrenia are able to reverse it with the proper human diet. So many. I've heard
Or
so many
alleviate it
testimonials
at
about
least,
that. And
or at least be able to live
yes,
a somewhat normal life and be at peace, you know?
yes,
That it
yeah.
doesn't have
When
to.
when sadly nothing else does.
Sheesh. And then you take these medicines that you can't just get off of them easily.
No,
It takes a
no.
process. Was that difficult for you, getting off of those SSRIs?
Yes. Yeah. And I always tell everyone, don't ever just say, oh, I'm better now, and stop them. You have to talk to your doctor, whoever
Yeah.
prescribed them to you. You have to wean off them. Some very dangerous things can happen if you go off that medication too quickly. So I did that all properly, and it took a long time, and you got to wean off of it. And yeah, but I'm so thankful. Like, it's so, like, all these pills too, like all of the time wasted. I'm on nothing now. I don't take any medication at all.
Amazing.
I I I'm going to go to a doctor if I break my leg or something like that. But prior to this, it was like, oh, the doctor knows better. I got to go to the doctor for anything. But not one of those doctors ever asked me what I was eating. And that was the root
Mm,
cause of every single
right.
issue. Every pill in here, every single pill in here without exception, it was just from the foods I was eating. Change the way the
Yeah.
foods I'm eating, I don't need the pills anymore.
Yeah. No, and there's like all these new diseases that keep propping up.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with a rare blood disorder called antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, APS for short. I think in the UK it's called Hughes syndrome. And it's like where the blood in the body, the proteins are attacking the normal lipids in the blood. And so you have to take warfarin in order to regulate how much your blood coagulates, and it has to be within a certain range. So I have to take warfarin every day for that. I've been doing that since 2006. And you're just like, well, where does this stuff even come from? Like like you never heard about this kind of stuff in the past.
Right.
Like, is that diet related? Like now you just question everything
Mhm.
because I had my because I go to a hematologist at least once a year, and I go get lab work done every month to make sure that I'm still within that range. And I go to my hematologist one day a few years ago, and I'm like, and I just decided that I was just going to ask him up front. I said, Doc, you don't really know much about this, do you? And he says, to his credit, he said, no, ma'am, I don't.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, well, that was an eye opener for me. And it also strangely was relieving because it was like, okay, doctors don't have all the answers. You know,
Right.
they like sometimes they pretend they do,
Yeah.
or they like to project that they do, but they really don't. They do their best, they try, they teach you what they've been taught. But the fact is that you really have to be your own health advocate and do
Mhm.
your own research and find out. You have to be your own N equals one and try out what can work for your body, because that's been ever since that happened. I was like, okay, I have to take my life in my own hands now, because clearly what we've been doing has not been working, and I have to figure out what in the world, because I don't want to take this medication for the rest of my life. It's like there's like rat poison in there.
Right.
I looked it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then you always think, what about the side effects or unintended
Yes,
consequences or 10 years down the road?
and
I
on your
love what you said,
liver.
though. Question everything and take things into your own 2 hands. I
Yeah.
wish I would have done that before. Question motives and yeah, like, if your doctor's like, "Oh, you should go on a statin." Okay, well, show me the study and the reason why that is.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you really, guys, you really have to be your own advocate. And I'm not saying don't trust doctors, obviously. I mean, I still go to my primary care doctor. I still go to my hematologist. I mean, we've had frank conversations, and I'm glad that we've been able to have that. But yeah, it's you have to be able to speak up for yourself and not be intimidated by asking and being, like, I found this research paper. What do you think about this? Or what do you think about this new study on cholesterol that I've never heard about, doc? And now I'm much more, upfront with my doctors, and I'm like, I found this study. What do you think about that? And so now my whole attitude towards that has changed. They don't Doctors don't intimidate me anymore. I just see them more as partners now, to that we can work together to better my health, because
Yeah.
yeah, we can't just put all of our trust in them. You have to do your own research. Okay. What's the biggest carnivore criticism you've encountered so far?
You mean someone criticizing me?
Or the carnivore way of eating, really? Like,
Mm.
because you have a big channel, you get a huge response from a lot of people. What's been your feedback?
Oh, I guess the biggest criticisms I've gotten on my channel is, um, I'm cruel and killing animals.
Oh, the vegans?
That's the vegans, yeah.
We love you, vegans. We
Yeah.
love you.
I really do too, like, I kinda
Yeah,
joke
I
about it, but
do.
I'm
I'm
like
not joking. I really
yeah,
do.
I'm like, I love the fact that they're compassionate and they have a big heart, and I love the fact too, like, if you can do that, you're amazing. If you're getting out of eating sugars and seed oils and all the junk food and you're healthy,
Yes.
I would consider that a proper I
That's
would
a huge
consider that
win.
proper human diet.
That's a
Yeah.
huge win.
We're, like, in the same team, just on different ends of the
Yeah,
spectrum, but we're
I
doing the same
agree.
thing. I just, my caution is I've seen so many people try that and fail. So I can't in good conscience say, oh yeah, you could do the proper human diet carnivore like or you could do vegetarian. And either way, you're going to be fine as long as you do it. Because I have seen so many people try the vegetarian way because they have big hearts. My daughter Emma, my wife, friends and family. And then they go on doing it for years and years and suffering, and they're not getting the nutrition they need to, and it's a big struggle for them. So um, I always just think that you got to speak the truth.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before, but I really believe the way I eat, and there's different ways to do carnivore diet, but a lot of the meat I get is grass-fed beef I get from my neighbor. It's one cow dies, I get
Oh,
hundreds of
that's
meals off of that
nice.
cow. Yes, I'm very fortunate and blessed to do it, but I always tell people that option is out there for a lot of people. You just got to look. My buddy JT in Milwaukee, he lives in a big metropolitan area. He Googled it. He found 5 different places he could have got the same thing from within
Mm,
a half hour of him. So he's doing it too. But if if you're telling the truth, um, being a vegetarian causes all sorts of destructions for animals. I've mentioned this many times before, but the biggest one is, and people can Google this: 70 million birds die per year per the EPA from pesticide poisoning. Pesticide poisoning
mm,
on plants. Now, a lot of vegans, vegetarians will argue, well, they're growing those plants to feed cows. Not my cows. My cows eat grass off the ground, natural,
mhm.
like cows have done since the start of time. It's literally the most natural thing that you could do. So
Yeah.
I've gotten into a couple things with vegan, vegetarian people. I'm like, I don't think you can argue with this fact. If you are really as compassionate as I am, just go eat that cow. It's eating grass off the ground and you get hundreds of meals off of it versus you're going to get a salad with carrots and lettuce and all these things in it. And how many animals have to die from pesticide poisoning or from the
Yeah.
tractor going through or from tearing up entire monocropping, tearing up ecosystems. And then all of those pesticides. That's I did this video, Martha, a while back where I'm like, I'm not eating fruits or vegetables anymore for the reasons I just described, but also just because I feel great on carnivore, but also the whole pesticide thing. As I went down that rabbit hole, it's crazy. The fact that people just take like a piece of broccoli or vegetable or produce and they sprinkle water over it and they're like,
Oh,
oh, I got all the pesticides off of it.
yeah.
It's literally the pesticides are in the interior of the vegetable,
Yes.
and pesticides mean death. They mean death.
Yeah.
If it has side in it, it
Cancer.
means death. So you're yes, you can eat poison. You can have a little bit of poison and maybe it won't hurt you, but you do it long enough, you're literally consuming poison. And then I just learned pesticides now have forever chemicals in them. So if the poison
Yes.
in the pesticides wasn't enough, now there's forever chemicals in it. And then when I think like, oh, I'm going to eat a piece of lettuce because it's so good for me. It's just so good for me. That's what they tell me. The lettuce is so good for you. Meanwhile, there's 14 calories in it. My stomach has to process pesticides that are in it, forever chemicals that will stay in my body forever, all for 14 calories. And I can guarantee you, whatever my digestive system has to do to process that lettuce is going to be more than 14 calories. It's going to require more energy to even process that. It's like a net loss. So
Mhm.
it's yeah,
Let's be honest, nobody likes lettuce. Everybody likes everything
right.
that you put on the lettuce, okay? The goat
Yes.
cheese and the dressing,
And
even the
yeah, the
balsamic
croutons.
vinegar and all of that. Listen, nobody likes lettuce,
Yeah,
okay? Uh, Everybody likes lettuce when they have all this stuff in there. It's awesome.
right. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
said that in
gosh.
the video. I was like, if you guys like salad so much, just eat a head of lettuce with nothing on it then and see how that goes for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nobody would eat it. No, no,
Right.
no, nobody's a bunny rabbit, like my friend Susan says. Okay. I remember the day that you talked to us about a man named Bill Knott, who you
Mm.
guys have become such good friends with. You're besties now. You talk all the time. I love that. The carnivore community very quickly rallied to his side. It was the most beautiful. I'm telling you, I was so fired up when I saw that video. I'm crying at work because I was listening to it. I'm crying at work and I'm sending it to my best friend and I'm sending it to my sister and I'm talking about it at work with my coworkers. I'm serious. This actually happened. And I don't even know who this Bill guy is, but it had the same effect on the carnivore community. And everybody's like, yeah, it's almost like we were waiting for somebody to help, you know,
Yeah.
and this opportunity or had arisen, and we're like, we want to help Bill. Where's Bill at? We want to help Bill. And so, how is Bill doing?
Bill is doing incredible. I was just chatting with him just before this. He's doing awesome. He's doing incredible. It's so awesome. It's so lovely. It's so amazing that everyone wants to help Bill. But the
Mhm.
beautiful thing is Bill is actually helping way more people than are helping Bill. It's like it's
Yeah,
completely turned around. He's inspiring
I love
so
that.
many people. It's just incredible. Genuinely, like we're like brothers. It's so crazy. He always uses the word providence, and it's just like there isn't a better word for that. It was just kind of
Yeah.
meant to be. Yeah, he's doing great. We had a fun day every year, Martha, at our house for the last 4 years. We do this thing. We call it a brat party. We make brats.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird. I have this big meat
It's a
grinder.
Wisconsin thing or
The
what?
Wisconsin thing,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a sausage brat. So, I have this meat grinder and you can make sausage with it. So every year we do that. It's really fun, actually. A bunch of family comes over. They'll all bring their own meat, and then we'll have all these different spices, and they'll put all the spices on. Everyone will make a unique recipe, and then we'll divvy it all up. And we'll have all these brats. You can throw them
Wow.
in the freezer. Well, of course, this year I'm a carnivore, so I'm not doing the spices. I'm not doing all of that. I said that to Bill yesterday, and he's like, because Bill's the recipe guy, right? He's got
Okay.
the bacon covered or the bacon wrapped ribeyes, and he's
Oh.
Bill was a former cook. Bill has lived
Oh,
many lives. He was a
really?
Oh yeah, a chef, a cook, a
Oh,
musician. He
cool.
almost had his his pilot's license. Bill's done everything.
Wow.
So I was like, Bill, what do I do? Like, I think I'll just make some steak. He's like, no, maybe you could do some brats. And he's like, what if you did, you're gonna do the pork like you would, you could do some Redmond salt. And then he was like, crush up some bacon and add some bacon in there. Cause I'm like, there's gonna be no flavor without spices.
Yeah,
But then he
yeah.
said bacon. I'm like, that's a great idea. Anyways, long story short, that's what I did today. I made brats. Everyone did their spicy ones with all the, I did my own 100% pure carnivore, Redmond salt, a little bit of bacon in them, and I smoked them on the smoker with cherry smoke.
Woo!
So we got that smoke flavor going through it. I thought they would be so blah and bland and not worth it. They're fantastic. They were so good.
Wow.
And the non-carnivore people, aunts and uncles and stuff that came over, they were eating them. They're like, "Whoa, this is actually really good." So they were eating carnivore and they didn't even know it. So yeah, shout
Wow.
out Bill. I told Bill today, I'm like,
Shout
dude,
out, Bill.
where's the cookbook? Because and there are all these names too, because it's like Bill's bacon brats. It's like all these bees, and he has Bill's bacon burgers. He's got all these things. I'm like, you got to do a cookbook next.
That's so
But
cool. Oh man, Bill, we're all cheering you on still, and I can't wait for him to slowly get his life back because he's such a gifted person to be able to do all these things and to be a musician and to do like it's almost like his life got truncated or stolen from him in a way. But this is like
yeah,
it's like Bill by himself. He's like a walking billboard or a soon to be walking billboard of this carnivore way of eating. And I love that. I love that. We're cheering you on, Bill. Keep going, buddy. That's so cool.
yeah. Shout out Bill. Bill's probably watching, or he's gonna watch after for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. You recently revealed the name of the documentary you're working on to be Healing Humanity, which is awesome. I love that. It's Healing Humanity, and is it with the proper human diet?
Yeah, it's healing humanity, the power of a proper
The
human
proper
diet
human diet.
with
Okay.
yeah, with the blessing of Dr. Ken Berry, because he's going to be a
Okay.
big part of the documentary. And that's kind of
Awesome.
his it's kind of his namesake, the proper human diet, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Originally it's like we're doing a documentary about the carnivore diet, which we are, but you say carnivore diet in the name and a lot of people aren't even going to watch it. So we want to get people in it. But also I think I've kind of evolved on this whole thing. I believe the proper human diet is eating food that's natural for humans.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, for me, that's carnivore. I'm going to ask Dr. Berry, what is your definition of proper human diet? Could that include, like we were talking about earlier, Martha, could that include vegetarian, vegan? My argument would be, well, what if the vegetables you're eating are full of pesticides, forever chemicals? That's not natural for a human to eat that. But maybe if they were to get those clean, it would be. But in any case, it's mostly about the carnivore diet, the proper human diet, eating what's natural for humans.
Yeah. No, and I really do think it really has to be on an individual basis. I mean, anything that's not processed, anything that's not really sugar, or at least limit it because some people can tolerate more than others. My mom can tolerate certain things that I cannot. And some people can moderate. I cannot moderate, you guys. Okay, I'm a carb addict. I'm a sugar
Mhm.
addict. I can't do it. I go like this when I'm cooking a carby casserole, and that triggers my carbs. And then there are some people that go strict carnivore, and then they're able with time to start reincorporating some of the things that they had long ago stopped eating. So it's an ongoing process. So I say anything that's, like you said, natural, and people just have to experiment, n equals one, and find out what works best for you.
Yep.
So yeah. Okay, so can you give us an update on where the documentary's at right now, and where can we get those t-shirts, Betty?
Yeah, so it's going wonderful. We filmed Bill, as we talked about, out in Alaska. We filmed Maggie, the 82-year-old carnivore who's been eating the proper human diet for 60 years. That was an incredible week. We filmed Dr. Tony Hampton in Chicago professionally. We've talked to all these other experts, but
Wow.
he was the first one we did in person, and I'm so happy and proud of the footage we got. Shout out Adam from Carnivore Today. He came with me. We were both filming that one together. And then we filmed my good friend Jeff DeProsperous, who's on a journey to be cancer free. We followed him
Mm,
around for like a week. We could barely keep up with the man. So
wow.
we've got some amazing progress. What we're doing right now is we're trying to get on Angel Studios. Um, Angel
Okay.
Studios, yeah, Angel Studios is I
They
love
did
what they're
Sound of
doing.
Freedom, right?
Yes, and we
Oh
played
man, that
that.
was a blockbuster.
Yes, that movie actually outsold the Indiana Jones movie and the Mission Impossible movie. It was
Wow.
they're breaking records and they're doing things differently, which I love because
Okay.
carnivores do things differently. That's how you get stuff done. And they're having incredible success doing things differently than the traditional Hollywood studios are doing. And
Okay.
they have this program, Angel Studios has this program where independent filmmakers can submit, they call it a torch, which is a prototype of their film. Hey, look, this is what we have so far. This is like our best. It could be 20 minutes long, but they prefer 10 minutes because people get bored or whatever. So here's our best 10 minutes. That's what we're working on right now. And that's why we're filming Dr. Barry. Once we have Dr. Barry, we will have our torch together. We're going to submit it to Angel Studios. The
Mm,
goal is to get on Angel Studios. And if we do, we could actually have Healing Humanity in a movie theater. It's going to be in my movie theater no matter what, but it could be in movie theaters all over the world. And the crazy thing is, Angel Studios did Sound of Freedom. They did His Only Son. They've had several very successful films, and they just recently had a documentary that was on the big screen. That's very rare for a documentary film to be on the big screen. It's normally just
mm.
straight to streaming. So ours is, of course, a documentary. The difference with our documentary that I'm very proud of and excited about, it's these stories of individuals that resonate with people. Nobody, no matter what happens in this documentary, nobody's going to be able to watch this and not be connected
Mm.
with Bill and Maggie and Jeff and want to, like,
Yeah.
no one's going to be able to watch the first 30 seconds and be like, oh, I'm good, change the channel. They'll be like, what the heck happened with that guy Bill? I want to see the end of it. And I
Yeah.
don't see a lot of movies doing that. I don't see a lot of documentaries do that. There's some great documentaries out there, but a lot of them, it's all about the science and the facts, and they're very interesting, but people don't have the attention span. They want to
Yeah.
resonate with people,
It
and that's
doesn't
what we're
fire people up.
right. That's what we're doing differently. So, anyways, that's the big update on the documentary. Film Dr. Ken Berry. We're also filming myself. I have tons of footage of myself, but the thing is, we have enough footage now to do a 20-hour documentary, but most of it is YouTube and it's streams like this. And
Yeah.
this isn't the quality that we're going to get on the big screen. So a lot of this stuff, like I said, this stuff already, it would be great in the documentary, but no, we have to film that professionally with the cinema grade camera. So that's what we're
Yeah.
doing next.
We're gonna
And
have
if
to
it
do a
doesn't,
TV series or a YouTube series, that a channel that's just for that or something.
yeah, well, we're thinking of doing the documentary first and then a series afterwards. Because just we started doing cancer. I'm like, we can't, it'll be a whole episode, it'll be 2 hours of cancer. So we're going to touch on
Mhm.
cancer, obesity, mental health in the documentary, but then we're going to do a series afterwards where we can do a whole episode dedicated to each of those topics.
Mm, that's amazing. Whoo, that's gonna be so good. We have to support that. And you'll have to, we'll link down in the description if you'll send me the links of everywhere that they can support your webpage and
Yeah,
that film. We really want everybody on board with that.
yeah, I appreciate that. It's healinghumanity.movie. And we sell like we're selling these water bottles. We have the Redmond salt shakers, the t-shirts, the Healing Humanity t-shirts, Compassionate Carnivore t-shirts. I eat only meat, ask me why t-shirts. Every penny we get from all of those goes to the documentary. None of that's going to for anything else but the documentary. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Angel
awesome.
Studios would be fantastic. So that's the first goal. The initial goal was just get it on a streaming service. So we now have a bigger goal. If plan A doesn't work, we still have plan B. But I am Providence. I have feeling plan A is going to work.
For the people that love to pray and believe in the power of prayer, we have to be on
Yes,
that, because
absolutely.
this is too important. I feel like this is way too important. We can't just sit on the laurels and expect Kerry to do everything. We have to all, pull our resources and our contacts in. And if you know anybody in Hollywood, and if you know anybody, in the system, everybody knows somebody that we can connect with, that we can get this. You put some fire under, put some logs in the fire so we can get it going.
Yes, and
All right.
when we get it on Angel Studios, that's when we really need everyone's help because it's a system where you vote. So
Mm,
there's a bunch of torches and prototypes, and the one that gets votes rises to the top. So, and that's the advantage we have is we have a big audience already. A lot of documentaries start out, they don't have a big YouTube audience already. So, but yeah, we definitely need the help and support from the community for that.
yep. Anybody want to see fat Kerry?
Hey,
Look at that.
there it is. You don't even have the whole.
Hey.
I was so fat there, I didn't even fit in the whole picture. The belly hangs
Yeah,
over way further than
I
that.
cut it out. All right, let's see. This is chubby face Kerry.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that day. Wow.
But
That.
you had 3 babies. I don't know when you slept with that. Oh my
Yeah, it was a
goodness.
blur. It was definitely a blur. But yeah, that day is a day I'll never forget.
And this is Slim Kerry.
Yeah, pink shirt.
Not Slim Shady, Slim Kerry.
Right.
That's awesome. If you guys have any questions for Kerry, let's go ahead and put them in the chat, because just like that, it's been 1 hour. Can you guys believe it?
Wow. Hey, while they do that, Martha, quick question for you. What's been the most
Mhm.
remarkable thing on your carnivore journey?
For me, well, one of the things that's uncommon for people, that because I have APS. So, okay, so my story is kind of long, but one of the things that happened to me with APS was that I think your daughter had this happen. She had a pulmonary embolism. That
Yes.
happened to me too when I was
Oh,
25. And that was caused because of the APS. So I had blood clots in my left leg that traveled to my lungs, and I was taken to the hospital, and they're like, Miss Banda, we can't let you leave the hospital, you have blood clots. And so I was in the emergency room, and that whole thing. You've been through that with your daughter as well. And so fast forward 10 years later, I had ulcers in my left leg, because the ulcers, the veins got damaged because of the blood clots in my left leg. And so it caused, 10 years later, it caused ulcers, 2 ulcers. And so they wouldn't heal. And it was this whole big long process to try to go through that process of healing. And I had to get a vein ablation done, and wound care, and all this kind of stuff. And so they did that, and I'm better now. My leg is fine, for those concerned, but it does leave your leg. I do have lymphedema in that left leg, and also, which I do treatment on every week with this special leg garment that I use, and a monitor, and little tubies that run through it. And it does like therapy without having to go to a clinic to do therapy for me. Basically, it's at-home therapy. And also, it leaves my leg a bit swollen. So I have to wear a compression stocking in that leg every day. And so that swelling has actually gone down somewhat with carnivore. So for me, that's not a big deal to other people, but I sing at my church, and I like to wear nice clothes. And I normally don't wear skirts and dresses anymore, because I'm very self-conscious about my left leg, because you can compare it to my right leg and you can tell that this one is swollen. And so, I'm still a little bit vain. And, those are the kind of things that matter to a woman, And so that's one of the things that I've noticed, that I haven't had to do the lymphedema therapy as often as I used to. I used to do it every single day. Now I can go 2 weeks without doing it.
nice.
Now I
That's
can go on
awesome.
vacation without doing it,
Nice.
and taking a monitor to the airport, and the garment through the airport, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like I'm getting my life back, basically.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So if anybody has questions about APS, you can ask me. I've been dealing with that since 2005. My sister also, but with hers, she got her APS triggered by birth control pills, which your daughter was taking.
Yep. Yeah.
And with me, they have no idea what triggered it. But
Mm.
I'm convinced it was food. I'm convinced it was inflammation of some sort that affected my body. So, all right, let's see if we have any questions over here. Did Kerry ever experience keto flu or gastro symptoms associated with a carnivore diet eating at the start? By Tina.
Hey, shout out Tina, Kathleen. Awesome. I did not. I was very fortunate. I know a lot of people do. I did keto on and off for years. And when I say that, people are like, oh, I did keto. Like I lost and gained so much weight on keto. I failed so many times on it, but getting into carnivore diet and getting into ketosis was pretty easy for me. I didn't get the flu. I also did a lot of electrolytes and I like went overboard drinking water. I think some people get the keto flu because you process through so much water the first week or two. And I kind of went overboard that way. So it was pretty, I freely admit this. My results on carnivore are pretty extraordinary compared to most, and also just it was easier for me. And like Martha said earlier, it's different for everyone. If you're a man, if you're a woman, depending on
Yeah.
your age, maybe your genetics. So I had it pretty easy that way.
Cool. All right. Question from Crypto Carnivore. Was Lion Diet for over a year? Incredible results. Started to add back eggs and going well. Why did you end up cutting them out?
Well, so on my day 90 of carnivore, I interviewed my hero, Dante Ferrigno, who I mentioned earlier, who convinced me to start. And he was on day 900 of doing the Lion Diet. And I was like, if this dude can eat only meat and skip the eggs for 900 days, I'm on day 90. I can commit to 10 measly days of just doing the Lion Diet. I'll stop eggs, I'll stop bacon for 10 days. Well, I decided to do that, and I felt so good after 10 days. Just like I said with carnivore, a lot of people are like, I'll do carnivore for 30 days, but then I'm done. But then everyone feels so amazing, like, I'm going to keep doing this forever. It was the same thing for Lion. I went on to do Lion Diet for 60 days. The only reason I stopped, I blame Bill Knott, and I blame my daughter Emma. I don't blame myself at all. No, I'm just joking. When we went to film Bill, meat in Alaska is so expensive. He told us that, and he was right. And it was scarce. Emma and I had trouble. We were on such a tight schedule filming Bill. We couldn't get meat. The first night we went to Walmart, we could barely get any meat. Emma was still eating bacon at the time, so I'm like, I'm done. I gotta have energy to film Bill all day, and this is like a very important thing, responsibility. So, yeah, I went back off a Lion Diet then. So I do eat eggs now, and I love them. I eat a ton of eggs. My favorite thing is eating. Lately, it's been eggs and ground beef. I stopped bacon for a while because I was eating too much of
I'm
that.
doing eggs and ground beef a lot these days.
It's good. A little bit of butter
Yeah.
on the side. I like to crisp, just a little power tip for anyone watching. I used to think ground beef was gross just because of the texture. I like to get it nice and crispy, almost like a smash burger. Add a little butter in when it's finishing off. Oh, it's so good. That's my favorite breakfast.
Yeah. I've been putting the Redmond's salt, the smoked salt on the ground
Yes.
beef. Oh my God.
I got to get that. Speaking of Bill Knott, he texted me that today on the brats I was talking about. He's like, you got to get that smoked salt. You could do different spices that way. I haven't tried it yet. And I've heard
I
just
like to
great
open the bag and just smell it.
Nice. Like smelling salt.
Yeah. What is APS? Tina Cole, APS is short for anti-phospholipid antibody syndrome, or Hughes syndrome in the UK. All right, let's see. Never asked for food. Ba, 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 ba. How's your wife doing, Kerry? I know she's doing keto. Is she
She's doing wonderful.
transitioning to carnivore as well?
She's ketovore, not quite carnivore yet.
Okay.
She said this herself, so I can speak on her behalf. She jumped into carnivore too hard, too fast. She was vegetarian for years, just like my daughter Emma.
Oh,
And
okay.
she, speaking of keto flu and all sorts of issues, she was suffering so bad. She got like a bad meat aversion, and going from being vegetarian, it's a little bit more understandable. She dropped off and she's like, I'm just going to do keto. And she did keto for the last couple of months, I'd say. And now she's getting more into ketovore, like trying to
Mhm.
stick around 10 carbs or less. She's doing really well.
Good. That's good. When I started carnivore, I did a slow transition as well. But by slow, I mean like week by week. So one week I started, instead of having 3 meals a day, I started having two. The next week, 1 meal a day. They were still carbs. And then the week after that, I just started eating carnivore foods. And that's kind of how I just kind of slowly
That's
transition there.
yeah, that's a great approach.
Carrie, is it challenging for you to smell the popcorn
Mm.
at your movie theater? Oh, yeah, right. It smells so good. I think that would be very hard for me. For me too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a challenge. It's kind of like Martha said earlier. Every now and then you get those weird carb cravings. I don't really get them, but the smell of there's certain smells and triggers every now and then where it's like you don't think about it. The thing with the popcorn that's tricky for me is when we first took over the theater, it's only been a year and a half. I wasn't carnivore when we took over the theater. I started carnivore a couple months after we took over. I used to test the popcorn every single day. There's a whole science and an artwork to making popcorn. And
Mm,
being new movie theater owners, we didn't want to mess that up. So it was a habit, just every single day. So I found myself a couple times almost like, oh, I had to stop myself. Like, just you don't even think about it, just going for it.
yeah,
Other than that, no, but I would say that out of all of the things in the world, that would have probably been the thing. It's the smell of popcorn more than anything else that's kind of getting me, but not anymore. And I find when I'm in just deep ketosis, when I'm really doing carnivore well, um, I don't have any cravings for anything anymore. So
that's cool. Yeah, there's certain smells that can trigger, but as long as I'm not having any carbs, if I'm being strict, I'm fine.
yeah.
If I've had a bit of dairy for a while, then that tends to trigger me some.
Mm.
All right, crypto carnivore. Any tips on traveling? Have a couple week trip coming up. Any carnivore snacks or bars you recommend?
Mm, yeah, I've had to deal with this myself. Shout out Adam from Carnivore Today. He helped me out when we went to visit Maggie. He purchased the carnivore bars, which is like pemmican, and it's shelf stable. You can. The problem is they're very. I'm not an affiliate for them. I'm not promoting them, but it was a very filling snack, great for travel. Very expensive though. It's not something I would get to just snack on. And the thing is, I don't
Okay.
snack on carnivore. I'm never snacking. But for the purpose of traveling, I think that's a good go-to. Making bacon and taking it with you, as they say, your purse bacon. I've always got bacon in my purse. I joke around with the girls on that one. But no, put it in Jen's purse or whatever. But have
Yeah.
some bacon with you. That's always a good one. I've kind of good because I've been traveling a lot for the documentary, finding different fast food that you can get that's clean. I know it's not great for you. I try to completely avoid it, but I've seen Dr. Barry go through the McDonald's drive-through and order a la carte patties. I've done that myself.
I've done that.
Those Yep, those are clean. Put some salt on them. I did that with Jeff in Canada as well. So if you're
Hmm.
depending on where you're traveling, that could be a go-to as well. The last thing I'll say real quick is have you have you experimented with fasting at all? And I'm not saying just go on your trip and fast the whole time, but for me, it's like I'm going to be flying. I got to rent a car. It's like 12 hours to where I go film Dr. Barry. It's like 10 hours in a car. I could just fast the 10 hours as a carnivore. That's really not that hard. I'm already in
Yeah.
ketosis, so that could be a strategy to work in as well.
That's what I did. I was strict carnivore over Thanksgiving, and over Thanksgiving I spent it in. We took a little road trip to Tennessee to the Smoky Mountains, and that's what I did. I just would eat 1 meal a day, and whenever I would eat my meal, it's when we had stopped in the city or we're going to eat together, and I would just eat whatever was carnivore there available at a restaurant. So, yeah, it's yeah. I don't snack either. I don't know how people get hungry during the day because I mean, if you're having enough fat, enough protein, you should be okay. Or at the beginning, you might still be hungry, but after a few weeks, like your body gets used to it.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of Bill Knott, hi Bill
Yay!
Knott. We're cheering you on, Bill. Good to see you. That's awesome.
Bill, you got to do a brat recipe of your own now. Let's go. It's a
I
little,
don't know if Bill missed all of that or not.
yeah. Bill, we were talking a little earlier before you jumped on about how you helped me out with the brat recipe, and it was a huge success. Maybe we turned a few non-carnivores over. We'll see. They were eating the brats, and I was like, hey, wait, those are mine. Wait a minute. I can't eat all that other junk you guys are eating. You can have 1 or 2 brats, but you got to save some for me. Come on.
Yeah. Have you done a live stream with Bill? You guys should do a live stream together.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We've done some, and I think he was on the 24-hour live stream as well. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I did catch some of that, but woo, that was a slog.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
you guys did that.
I'm still having nightmares about that. And we went to 27 hours, by the way. It was
Oh my
called the
God.
24-hour live stream, but we went to 27 hours.
Wow.
I'm hoping we don't have to do
Amazing.
another one of those, but we were able to raise a lot of funds for the documentary, which was needed. And that's what allowed us to go film some more of the folks we've mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. Eat meat, feel
Oh, there you
good.
go.
It says hard-boiled eggs are one of the cheapest snacks at airport stores. That's perfect. Yeah. And it's good to have that in the fridge too. If
Yeah.
you're like a snacker, have bacon cooked already in little Ziploc bags, have hard-boiled eggs cooked already, ready to go whenever you guys some people do butter bites. I haven't tried them, but I heard that they're really good.
My mom made me
Um,
some. Oh, they're very good.
are they? Yeah. Is
Yep.
it like candy? Somebody
It
said it
is.
was
It's
like candy.
weird. It tastes almost like a sweet kind of feeling when you're eating them. It's just so
Wow.
weird. It's just butter. But yeah, they're very
Interesting.
good. And yeah, hard-boiled eggs are great. I forgot to mention that earlier. We have a little gas station across the street, and it's like you're going into a drug den. It's just all sugar and junk food, and there's probably 5,000 products in there, but the only one I get is the hard-boiled eggs. You can even get them from a gas station. They're just straight up, but those are
Amazing.
always good to have in the fridge and prepped.
Yep. All right. If anybody else has questions for Kerry, let's get him in. Let's see here. We've got Denise. Where's she at? Oops, wrong one. There we go. My husband has been eating all my high-fat carnivore
Oh,
food, but also still eating high carb. Am I setting him up for health issues? Ooh. Well, first of all, we're not doctors and we don't play one on YouTube. So, what's your
you're right.
experience, Kerry, about that?
That's a good doctor. That's a
Yeah.
good Dr. Berry question. I would say I always like to position it like this. If it were me,
Mhm.
that can be bad because we talk about oh
I mean, your insulin is going to be high if you're having carbs. You're
yes.
setting up
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get
yeah,
at.
you're having the fat and your insulin is high. I mean, it's that's a bad combination. So, I'm
Yes.
not an
Yeah, if you have poor
expert. I'm
metabolic
still a
health,
baby
which he's gonna
carnivore,
have,
but
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I would say stop doing that. Plus, it's just rude. That's your carnivore food, right? You have limited options that he's eating 'em. But then you wanna be it's tricky too because you want to encourage him. Just be like,
Yeah.
wean off that other stuff. Wean off of
Yeah.
it. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm a, you know, get the band-aid off quickly kind of gal. I need to be strict as much as I can. Yeah,
Yep.
moderation doesn't work well for me at all. But I mean, whatever works for you. Some people can, do it slowly and that's fine. Whatever works for you. You have to experiment, really. You really do have to. It's not a one size fits all kind of thing because everyone's dealing with different things. I have APS, I still have somewhat high blood pressure. It's regulated. It's okay, but it's not where I want it to be. So everyone is, goes at a different pace. All right, let's see. Carrie, how severe was your brain fog?
As severe as it gets. Like I said, I felt like I was walking around impaired or drunk or intoxicated. I was always stumbling and stuttering, and I couldn't find my words. That was the big one. I would always say like, "Oh, we got to go in the what's the name? Oh, it's a car. That's a car." And like I could never figure out my words. So yes, it was very bad, and I see it now in other people, which is kind of interesting. Now that I don't have the brain fog, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that guy's got some issues." But um, yeah, that's the whole thing with the healing humanity. Like I said earlier, I believe most of humanity has that brain fog and the fatigue because you're not putting the proper fuel in your body. You're walking around at a deficit all the time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is Carrie still feeling extra hungry like he did at the 5-month mark? You got extra hungry at the 5 month
Hey,
mark?
yes, I hit this thing where I lost I got to my goal weight. I still had a little bit to lose, but
Oh,
most of the body fat. So it's like when you're in ketosis, your body's burning your fat for fuel. And at some point you hit this, I call it this certain stage of carnivore. I think I was calling it stage 4, where you're like, your body just panics. It's happened to me. And interestingly, I had like 3 other carnivore buddies. They were saying the same thing at the same time. We all hit our goal weight. All of a sudden, your body's like, I'm so hungry right now. And you just like eating so much more
because
food than normal.
it's done burning all the fuel that you had, so now it
Yep.
needs extra fuel, and it's telling me, "Give me food
Yep.
now."
So I think your body gets a little panicky. It's like, oh,
Mm,
what I was eating this fuel reserve. Now we don't have any. Panic, panic, panic. So it's I think it's exasperated for a little bit. I think that's what was
mhm,
happening. I am still eating more now than I did when I first started carnivore because I'm not burning those fat reserves anymore. But it
mhm,
isn't, Tina, as extreme as that 5 month mark. It's perfectly manageable. Where at the five
okay.
month mark, I was concerned, like, I don't know if I can eat this much food for the rest of my life. This is getting kind of nuts.
Mhm. My friend Susan was I was just talking to her today. For those of you that know Susan Boykin, we did a quick update video, both of us together today. That's going to come out maybe Monday. We'll see. I'm working on it. Just happened today. But she was talking about she would eat a lot, and she still does. She we joke that she eats like a linebacker, you know. And but she's teeny tiny now. She lost over she was over 300 pounds, and she's teeny tiny now. And but she was like really stressing her body out because she was walking 15 miles a day. She'd
Mm.
walk 5 in the morning, she'd walk 5 at noon, 5 in the evening. So she's like, she was doing this for quite some time. And well, she was using all that energy, and she was losing weight, but it was also because she was walking so much. And so now she's begun toning it back some. And so I feel like now her weight is starting to balance out because she was losing way too much weight, so she kind of had to slow it down some. So yeah, you have to keep experimenting with that stuff. All right, Carnivore Dan, what are the potential health benefits and risks associated with the long term carnivore diet? I don't know of any risks, long term carnivore diet risks, at least all of the OG carnivores that have been doing this for over a decade. They seem to be thriving. So that's a
Yeah.
good sign. But in regards to like long term carnivore risks, it's hard to say because we're still figuring this out as we go along. So it's kind of like they're the experiments that we're watching, and we're like, wow, they still seem to be okay so far. I don't know what you've heard, Kerry, but that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I guess similar. I guess in terms of the health benefits, I think we covered a lot of those already. It's just like everything gets better. Your sleep gets better. You feel like a proper human. You're thriving. You're doing everything you should be doing. The risks, yeah, like Martha said, it's tricky. That's one of the I guess the only thing I can think with carnivore is there's not a lot of long term studies on it because it works so well, in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
like there's no money to be made if they do a study on the carnivore diet long term. However, there's been lots of groups of people that have eaten the proper human diet or carnivore type diet
Yeah.
throughout history, and they just thrived. Like we always talk about the Inuit, and they were studied by scientists for living so
Yeah.
long. Personally, I filmed Maggie, the 82-year-old rancher. She's been eating carnivore diet for 65 years. She's the most incredible individual I have ever met. She's doing
Wow.
circles. She's absolutely ripped. She's full of life. Her mood, her demeanor, her attitude is that of someone easily half of her age. Adam
Mm.
and I could barely keep up with her. Never in terms of like risks or disease, nothing. I asked her like, oh, like, did you ever get like you should have had a heart attack by now? Surely, I mean that's what they tell you. You're only eating meat for 65 years. When did you have your heart attack? Never had a heart attack. Never had any issues. Nothing. She doesn't even get sick. She's like everyone. People get coughs and flus and all this stuff. And I don't. She's like I don't have time for that. I'm a farmer. I don't have time for that. She's eating the proper human diet. So yeah, that would be my answer on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and if anybody does have any long-term side effects, let us know. We want to know. Like we want to know the truth. Tell us. We want to be educated. And is there a workaround to that? Is there some kind of modification we need to do? I mean, like I said, I feel like this is one giant experiment where we're all figuring it out together at the same time as we go, because clearly scientists aren't going to do it for us. Like we can't rely on the
Right.
scientific community and I'm not going to wait around for them to get the proper studies to, like, I need to figure this out now because we only have one life
Right.
to live. So
Well,
yeah.
and I just feel like there's no risk because in my opinion, for me, I'm like, there's no risk in eating what humans are intended to eat and humans have eaten since the start of time. We're doing what naturally humans should do. So how would there be a risk with that? And for me, it's like, even if someone told me right now, you're going to do that carnivore diet, you're taking 5 years off your life, done. I'm not even have to think about it for a second. For all of the things I feel better about, done in a second without any thought whatsoever. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's exactly the opposite. I think my risk of getting cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, all of that is
Yeah.
drastically reduced because of the way I'm eating.
Quality of life, people. Quality of life. And I know some people will be like, well, because there are some Christians that don't believe in evolution and that mankind has been eating this way for a long time. But I mean, when you look at the Inuit, you're like, okay, they seem to be doing all right. Like they're ripped, they're they're thriving, and all these people that are like OG carnivores. If I ever see them suffering, I'll be like, Kelly, have you noticed anything? Kelly
Right.
Hogan?
Right.
No, she's fine. She's still totally fine. Uh, what's it, Carnivore Doctor, and all of the people that have been doing this for a long, long time. I mean, they're thriving.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Tina. We appreciate your comments, appreciate the insight to what potentially expect at different stages of carnivore diet. Great contact. Thank you, Tina. We really appreciate your comments and your encouragement. And I still consider myself learning. And I think we all should consider ourselves that we're all still learning together, because you guys will find information that I haven't read yet. Every time I see my friend Susan, she has learned something new and she's sharing it with me, and we text each other every week. I found this, or I found that. I'm trying this, and stuff like that. So we're walking this journey together, and learning it together. I don't think anyone has all of the answers, right?
Right.
But I feel like we're on the right track.
Yeah.
So that's good. This is my sister Sandy. She said the risk is outliving family that isn't on carnivore.
Yeah. Sadly, that's a very true statement for Maggie in particular. Most of her loved
Mm.
ones, family, and friends, she's completely outlived.
Yeah. That's so funny that Sandy, you said that, because like I've been kind of obsessed. In January, I always go through my like financial numbers and my goals for the year and when I'm gonna retire, and I'm super geeky about that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I hope everybody's healthy and alive when I retire and want to travel, so I can travel with my
Right.
sisters and have fun. Like you really start thinking about those things because you want to be able to enjoy, retirement and
Mm.
all of that stuff. Let's see. We've got Displaced Hoosier, 58, female, 9 weeks as a carnivore. Congratulations. Last 5 strict BBB&E, that's beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Have 50 pounds to lose, and I've gained 3 pounds. Eating till full, no snacks. Not feeling very different. Any ideas? Just vitamin P, patience. We know vitamin P from Dr. Perry. And not giving up. Yeah, I would say vitamin P, because the health journey is not where it's going like this. It's like goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then it kind of gives, and then it goes up a little, and then it kind of it's not a straight line down. And so that's happened to me, especially for us women. We have to deal with our hormones, especially at that time of the month. And we've got menopausal, postmenopausal. You've got your hormones are going, and they work so much differently than for men. And so it's crazy. So sometimes it's not that I saw this one post on Instagram from this woman who her scale didn't move at all for months, Kerry. She thought she was not well. Thankfully, she did before and after pictures, and her body transformation was so dramatic, even though the scale showed the exact same weight for weeks and weeks and weeks. And she looked ripped. She looked
Mm,
amazing. She'd put on this muscle. And you just can't trust the scale. You
yeah.
really can't. You take pictures, take before and after pictures, take pictures as you're going through the process, because that's going to encourage you. Measure yourself, your waist, your arms, your legs, everything is encouraging. You don't want to rely solely on the scale. And check the body fat. You have anything to add to that, Gary?
The only thing I'll add real quick is if you get stuck for a while too, maybe just try switching something up a little bit, because we
Mm-hmm.
get into these routines as humans, and it seems like when people switch things up now, whether that's going from BBBE to maybe lion diet, just not
Yeah.
forever, but maybe just 3 days lion diet, or maybe it's just one day fasting. Just try to switch something up and confuse your body a little bit, because we get into these weird
Mm-hmm.
routines. But yeah, I love what you said, Martha, too. The scale is so tricky. You fluctuate a lot of water weight. You could be gaining muscle. Losing fat, and you might become a little bit heavier, but you're actually doing better in that way. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
measure.
With the fancy people call it metabolic reset days. That's
Yeah.
what you want to do. I do that. I do that a lot. Um, not a lot like every day, but like if I feel like I'm plateauing or something, I just change something up real quick.
Yeah.
Some maybe I'll intermittent fast that day, or maybe the next day I'll eat 2 meals a day for the whole week, and then the week after that I'll eat 1 meal a day, but still eating enough calories, still getting enough food in my body. You don't want to undereat, especially as women. We tend to undereat, and you have to keep track of that, because sometimes we can get carried away. And if I'm not putting it in my little app, I realize, oh my god, I've only had 1,200 calories. Like, I need to eat food. Your body does need that. Okay. Da, 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 da. Everybody's having fun in the chat. That's good.
Yay.
I love Kelly Hogan. She's awesome. I was talking to her today. I want to go visit Kelly. I think my friend Susan and I might make a trip over to her. She's so encouraging and generous with her insights, and so humble too. And what I love about Kelly also is that she's always learning.
Mm,
Constantly. She's constantly on podcasts. She's constantly, following other people that are walking the same journey. And she's asking questions, and she's not, she's never gonna act like she has it all figured out. We're all still together learning.
yeah. She came on the 24-hour live stream. It was incredible. Such a great spirit, so much energy.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She's so cool. Andy Schnick, question: ever had bacon uncooked and cold? It is great, and it is safe because it is smoked already. I haven't.
I've never tried that. No.
Hmm. Nancy aspires to be the next Maggie. Don't we all? She's
We
amazing.
were quick funny story. I told Maggie when we left, I'm like, we need to make up some shirts that say, I want to be like Maggie when I grow up.
Yes.
She thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, she does not look her age at all. She looks
No.
incredible. Sheesh. Carrie, you're gonna laugh at this. Um, today I was recording my update video because I've been gone for all of January, and I recorded it with my friend Susan, and she's been working out. She's been doing crunches, and she bought this little machine for her abs, right? And I'm like, oh, cool, let me try that out. And I was like, how does this work? It's not moving. She's like, well, you're supposed to move it up with your abs, and I'm like, I couldn't even do one ab crunch. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a long way to go before I'm ever Maggie. That was
Baby
embarrassing.
steps.
Several ways to go, you guys. Oh my goodness. And you guys are having fun. Martha, I'm gonna subscribe. This has been a fun interview and conversation. And hey, we're neighbors because I live just outside of Houston. Awesome. I'm in Pearland at the moment, but yes, I'm from Houston, and my church is in Pasadena, Texas. I go to little small Spanish church, largely immigrant church. And by the way, you guys, speaking of Spanish, for those of you that have Spanish speaking friends, Hispanic, Latino friends, I did my very first all Spanish interview on Carnivore Diet with a doctor from Mexico, from Chihuahua, Mexico. and that's going to come up this month. I think it's going to be on the 19th, but I'll confirm with you guys. If you follow me on Instagram at LivinLaVidaCarni, I'll be updating you guys there. So tell your friends, because we want other people to know about it. We looked, and there's not much at all in Spanish on carnivore at all. So we want to get the word out. So thank you, the Marine and the Missus. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. Intermittent fasting is crucial as well. That's when I lose the most body fat so far. Yeah. And you want to take those electrolytes, especially when you're fasting, you guys. I made the mistake of going in January. I did some fasting, and I normally have coffee every day, and I would put my electrolytes in my coffee, and I stopped doing that because I wasn't drinking coffee. I gave up coffee in January, and a few days ago, like a week ago, on Monday, I woke up dizzy. And I was like, whoa, and I was walking kind of like this, and that was kind of scary. So yeah, watch it with those electrolytes, guys. They'll catch up to you. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Why is your eyes more young? I think we're good. Last questions, you guys. Last questions. It's unique.
Hey, while we're looking, just one more shout out for Martha's channel, LivinLaVidaCarni. I have a link in my description. Go subscribe. Give her some subscriptions. This was a great interview. I really enjoyed this. You get some really good comments too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you, Kerry. And that's one of the last things I wanted to tell you. Just thank you for what you and the team. I don't know who all is on the team. I know Adam. I don't know who else is on the team, but I just really appreciate you. I know, like, I have a busy schedule, and a lot of us have a busy schedule, but you really put time, somehow prioritize this film to be able to get it out there to so many people. And aside from prayer, we certainly want to be supportive, find the merch, keep supporting financially to get this done, and to get it done right with really great quality, because that's what matters. Is I just keep thinking of all the Joeys that are out there, right? Because when the Joeys are gone, it affects the whole family. It affects the children. It affects, the spouse that has to do everything by themselves and put their kids through college. And that's what my sister-in-law is going through right now. And it's very difficult. So we want to get the word out there for everyone in the Black community, the Hispanic community, everybody, because this is a problem that's going on everywhere. So I just want to say thank you. I love your passion, Kerry, and I love everybody that you're working with. And if we can be more supportive, please let us know. We definitely have your backs, and we want to be there for you guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. That's really nice. Yeah. And shout out to everyone on the team. Adam's amazing. We have a whole group of volunteers. Lynn from Midwife Carnivore has been a huge help with things. Graham, Carnivore Transformer. And then there's just, I can't list them all, but there's several volunteers that have been helping us as well. So, I really appreciate all the support. Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more. Everyone has been so supportive. I can't wait to share the work that we've done so far. I'm very proud of all the work that we've done so far. And we're going to be able to do that soon with this whole torch thing I mentioned earlier, which is very exciting. So looking forward to sharing that with everyone in the world. So yeah, thank you so much, Martha. This has been awesome.
Appreciate you, Kerry. You have a new friend here in Houston.
Same,
and,
yeah.
Let me know when you're in Austin, and I'll do my best to be there.
100%. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. And everybody subscribe to Kerry if living under a rock somewhere and you haven't heard about him. So I love you guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.